out. My name is Adam Pearce. I am glad that y'all asked me to be a part of this. I see I've got a lot of questions here from a bunch of different people. I'm going to answer this as best as I can. I am a Southern Louisiana rocker. I was on The Voice. I made it to the top 20 on season 13. I was first on Adam Levine's team and then later on Miley Cyrus's team for my last performance. But let's get this started. Let's see. First question is, what is something you have learned in life that would have been valuable to know when you were in high school? I think I would say, it sounds cliche, but forget the naysayers. I always had a saying that was, you'll never become above average if you take all of the advice from the average. And that might sound a little harsh and a little mean, but it's very true. Forget the people that tell you you can't do it. You know, don't think big. That's stupid and silly, and you're never going to get there. And you know what? There's a small part of them that may be right. You may never get to some huge level of success, or at least not monetary success, but you will never look back and regret following your dream or what you felt like your true calling was. So forget the naysayers. Don't listen to them. If you have a goal, hold on to it, cherish it. Work for it long after the warm and fuzzy feelings of that feeling have disappeared. Continue to work for it. It is worth it, I promise. Second question, were you in choir growing up? No, I was not. I didn't even know I had musical talent till I was after high school. I got a guitar when I was 18 years old. I didn't even know that I could sing for like the first 2 or 3 years of playing guitar. I was actually looking for singers in my band. So I think that's kind of funny considering I was just now on The Voice, so obviously I can sing at least okay. Did singing come naturally, or did you have a vocal coach? Singing did come naturally to me. I just started doing it. Just playing in the band and just started singing. Started out singing, you know, like Chris Cornell, Audio Slave, Soundgarden, and then later really fell in love with like Robert Plant, Led Zeppelin, and everything. And it kind of came naturally. I would suggest vocal coaches, though, because I didn't really have any formal voice lessons until I got to The Voice, and they had some great vocal coaches. Aside from the celebrity coaches, they had some other coaches that worked with us, and they were great. And there was a lot that I learned even in these last few years of singing. What was the process like getting on The Voice? So I got invited to be on The Voice. I got to skip the open calls, and the open calls are the big process. That's the where you see like the stadiums full of people, 40,000 people. I got to skip that. They found me online. They sent me an email saying, hey, we're going to be in New Orleans on this date. We would like you to come, and it's called the callback. So I was like, sure. It kind of just fell in my lap. So I went to it, and there were still hundreds of people there. But we were sitting in the room and you could hear other people auditioning before us, and most people get through like half of a song before they cut them off, and they're like, all right, thanks for coming, you know, maybe try again next time. So it was pretty brutal, but I played one song, and I played Whole Lotta Love by Led Zeppelin, and then I did I Believe in a Thing Called Love by The Darkness, and I honestly can't even remember what my third song was, but they kept wanting me to play. So then they moved me along, and then they moved me along to the next stage, which is the executive auditions, where you fly to California and you perform in front of all the executive producers and all the big dogs. And then they cut that down from about 200 people at that. They cut that in half. And then about 100 people make it to a blind. And the reason why I say it like that is because obviously there's only 48 spots on a team. So a lot of those people don't even get airtime because the teams will fill up before you get a chance. So yeah, so they cut it down to 48, and then even a lot of people that make a team, some of them get montaged where they just show you like little clips. So it ended up working out very well for me because I was on season 12, and it still got aired. I didn't even make a team, and then season 13, and all 4 of my episodes got aired full length. So I was very, very thankful for that. Is there anything you are not allowed to do while on the season? Yes, talk about the show. You have to keep it secret for a long time. A lot of this is pre-recorded. That's the biggest thing. You cannot tell people where you've been. You can't tell people the results of the show, and all understandably so. That's the biggest thing. You can't talk about it. First rule of The Voice, don't talk about The Voice. It's a Fight Club reference. I don't know if any of y'all caught that.
The first rule of Fight Club is you do not talk about Fight Club. The second rule of Fight Club is you do not talk about Fight Club.
What has been your biggest takeaway from being on The Voice? This one's kind of easy for me to answer. After failing on season 12 where I didn't get any chair turns, I think the biggest thing that I learned from the show was how to mentally prepare myself for that big of a stage. It's a really, really big mind game to prepare yourself for that moment. And I've been playing gigs my entire adult life, but there's nothing you're going to do that's going to prepare you for that intense of a moment, that situation. So how to switch my nervous energy into positive energy in my own head, how to get over my own thoughts and my own nervousness. That's the biggest thing that I learned about being on this show. And I can't imagine any other shows or any other performances making me nervous now since I've been on The Voice, because that was pretty intense. Do you think the value you receive from vocal coaching could only be accomplished in person? Do you think vocal coaching could have the same value done via social media? That's a good question. I would say the only tough part about doing it through social media and doing it, through the computer and through phones is you can't really hear a voice in depth that you would in person. If if a vocal coach is really, really listening for all the little nuances in your voice, it's probably hard for some of that to translate, through social media. So I would say it's always better in person. I don't know. I can't really answer that question. I've never been trained via social media. If you could collaborate with any band or singer, who would it be and why? Well, a year ago I would have said Chris Cornell, but he unfortunately passed away. He was my biggest hero as a musician. He was my biggest influence. So I'm going to go with maybe Dave Grohl now, because he's pretty cool. He's rock and roll. He's super talented. He's a musician. I always have a great deal of respect for singers who are also musicians, as I'm a guitarist. Let's go with Dave Grohl. I like that. Or maybe Robert Plant. But I feel like he'd probably be a little jaded. Would you consider collaborating on a song with a rapper? If so, how can we make it happen? No, not really. I don't ever see me collaborating with a rapper. I don't think it would fit in my music, but hey man, I'm still young in my music career. Maybe that could change. Could you do your own cover to Aerosmith's I Don't Want to Miss a Thing?
The sweetest dream would never do. I'd still miss you, babe, and I don't want to miss a thing.
Yeah, I don't see why not. Maybe like a solo acoustic cover. I don't know if this is asking me to send that, but yeah, I guess I could. What are your plans in the upcoming months after The Voice? Album. I am busting my butt on this new original album, my new original music. Excuse me, close this message. That is the most important thing for me right now. The single will be coming out in a week or two, and the album will be coming out in a few months. It's called Warbird. Please check it out. I actually launched my Kickstarter today to help me, a few days ago, to help me fund the thing. It's a very massive project. There's probably about 15 different people involved in the creation of an album if you want to do it right. So that's really all I've been thinking about. Practicing with my band, composing with my band, writing songs, recording the songs, and then on top of balancing all the social media and everything else that's blown up since The Voice. Any final thoughts, wisdom you would like to share with students who have dreams of making it in the music industry? Work hard, harder than you ever could imagine. And whenever you get to that point, you still haven't worked hard enough. Because it's insanely hard. But the good news is there's joy in hard work. You should have joy in what you do. There are a lot of miserable points in it. There's a lot of tough parts about being a musician, working in the music industry. That's any job. That's what makes the good parts good. Work harder than everyone else. I think a lot of people like to say music isn't a competition because it makes them all warm and fuzzy feeling inside, but I disagree. Music is very much a competition, and I mean that in the sense you are competing with other musicians for the market. There's only X amount of people buying albums. There's only X amount of people going to shows. You're competing with other musicians. They can be your friend and you can do shows with them, but ultimately you're competing to be the best. You should be the best. You want to be the best. That's how you make it. I always told myself because I don't have a lot of contacts. I don't have big names in the industry. I don't have a lot of money. But my philosophy has always been be so good that people can't ignore you. And I'm still working on that. and I'm by no means a success story, but I enjoy my work. There's joy in my work, and I enjoy doing it. So work hard, and work hard for a very, very long time. It builds character. It doesn't happen overnight. But thank you all for having me. If you have any other questions, y'all send them on to me. I'd be happy to answer them.